Hiya, my name's David. I'm the Wandering Ponderer. I'm out in the graveyard. As you can see, I was curious to find Henry Nunn's grave, where it is. A little bit difficult to find. I went right round, but I found it. And here it is, down there. The gravestone had ended up, I think, falling over and breaking probably. But that is it. But standing here, I wanted to sort of at least see his grave, and I've done so. And the gentleman that lies down there, kudos to him, because he's done a wonderful job. Thinking about Henry Nunn got me thinking musically about the sort of music and the sort of musical instruments that were around in the 1800s. What was available to the common man? And when I say common man, I mean people that weren't wealthy, normal people, you and I, the working class. Going to concerts and operas and big events like that were out of the reach of normal people. But in the Victorian era, it gave rise to what's called music hall. So popular music that the normal people would be singing on the streets, was really around in the Victorian age. And I was wondering what sort of musical instruments were about. Well, brass bands were a big thing in the Victorian age, and marching bands. But the brass band, Coggeshall had a town band, and it was that band that led the procession to bury Henry Nunn when he died. But you also had the upright piano, which was found in many Victorian households. Again, these were instruments purely of the rich. You had the penny whistle, which was within reach of the man on the street, such as myself. But in looking into this, I discovered something. You remember what an instrument people used to call the squeeze box? On a lot of dramas, ocean-going dramas, you see people playing sea shanties on these little squeeze boxes. And there's a film trope of having pirates playing things like this, and even accordions. Well, this is a big historical error, because the squeeze box, which is the Concertina, was invented in 1829. The golden age of pirates, the golden era, was 1650 to 1720, 1730. And that was the golden era of Captain Morgan, Captain Kidd, Blackbeard, those sort of pirates. I have seen film dramas where they have these little squeeze boxes on board the pirate ship or on board normal sailing ships. But this is a historical error, because again, in that period these instruments weren't invented. The concertina, the sound of the concertina is a bit like the accordion, and again you see dramatized versions of pirates playing accordions, which again is not historically accurate. We tend to merge history to fit a narrative when it comes to dramatizing historical events, and it's as plain as day with musical instruments. But I was looking at the concertina, and that's an interesting little instrument because it was invented in England. It's an English invention. It was invented by a man called Sir Charles Wheatstone, and he invented it in 1829. That's his invention. That's before the end of even the Victorian era of piracy. Although piracy continued, it wasn't as popular and it was not as profitable as back in the golden era, because the Navy were involved now in catching the pirates, and times had moved on. But there was another man who had his hands on the invention of the concertina, the squeeze box, and he was a German by the name of Frederick. He invented the concertina in 1834. This is a case of England getting there before Germany. In a sense, of those football lovers, England beat Germany with the invention of the concertina. So that's our claim to fame over the Germans. But it's an interesting little piece of trivia to think about music in the time of Henry Nunn, and what would have been played at his funeral. Other than religious things, what music did Henry like? These sort of things bring an interesting perspective into a person, and of course there's no way of knowing at the moment. I haven't found any list of favourite tunes, desert island discs that Henry would have chosen. I wonder what he would have done. The happy sound of old dilapidated buildings being pulled down, no doubt. The sound of victory. But it got me thinking. Really got me thinking. Yeah, it got me thinking about music, the music in the era of Henry Nunn, what he would have liked to have heard. Music plays a big part in our lives in this day and age, and music has since man's been on the walking on the planet in some form. I've gone into that before, but music in that period of Queen Victoria, we've all heard some of the songs that they would play at the piano in the upper class houses, the upright piano, which used to be, in place of a radio or a TV, used to be the entertainment of the evening. Papa and Mama maybe singing around the piano. But I did wonder. I wondered what Henry would be singing. He must have known some ditties, and maybe even some musical songs that he would sing. Anyway, that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, as always, and stay safe. I'll see you in another video.